that?
Well, the only thing I can actually tell you about it, that is a short time ago, a little boy came up to me and he said, "Mister," he said, "how come all them things up there?" He says, "How come we call them circles, the medallions?" He says, "How come they all face one direction and one faces the other? This direction, the medallion points out. On all of the others, the medallions are pointed in." It took a little 5-year-old youngster to see that. I've been
Oh, wow.
about
no,
31 years at that time, and I've never seen it.
Huh. We're talking about the upper left
Right.
of the 4 right there. The red, green section points inward and the rest point out. Huh. No idea why?
No, maybe it was done that way on purpose, or maybe it was done that way accidentally. Yes.
Frequent guest here?
He was a guest at the hotel. As a matter of fact, when we did a history for the book, History and Mystery of the Menger Hotel, we found an item in the bookkeeping ledger where he paid more for his accommodations than the others did, so that would indicate to me that he had a suite of rooms instead of just one. Housekeeping.
Wow.
There's a picture of the captain and his wife on the wall.
So many people know of Kingsville and the King's Ranch,
Right.
but they don't know so much about him
It was
himself.
1 million acres. I think now it's down to about 800,000 or something such as that. Now this is his.
Is that a working phone right there? Or is that?
Yeah. Oh yes. It's a reproduction. It is.
Oh, okay.
This is the bed. Captain King lay in this bed, slept here, died here. His body was held in state for 3 days.
Oh, so he died here?
Oh yes, he died.
Wow. And in this exact bed?
Yes, sir.
Any ever ghost sightings of him?
There's supposed to be one that this Air Force major reported to me. It was a fellow in a wide brim cowboy hat. We used to have a door here. The door's been taken out. We filled it in, and he supposedly walks right through.
Wow. Wow.
The bed was from the 1840s period. It was probably made by a fellow by the name of Adolf Heusinger. He was a furniture maker to people who could afford to buy his furniture in those days. And it's a solid bed, very, very solid. It's real.
Wow. So did he pay to have this?
I'm sure that he paid. You know, Heusinger didn't make furniture for everybody, just those who could afford it. And those who couldn't, well, they'd have to get by and sleep on whatever they had. He wanted everything done yesterday, and he generally got his way. He did.
Huh. How often did he stay here? He was mainly here for cattle drives, correct?
Things of this nature, yes. And then he lived in a hotel. When he married, he lived here. He kept a suite here in the hotel, a suite of rooms. You know, with the coming of the railroad in 1877, of course, this changed the old cattle drive. Now they could be shipped from point A to point B on train. But the area that we were at just a while ago, which is at the back end of the hotel, was the old Chisholm Trail.
Oh, wow.
Where the cattle would come in that way. Right next to the hotel on the right-hand side, there was a hole. What is now Dillard's was a holding area for cattle in those days. So,
is this one of the hallways where
the
maid ghost is seen?
All
or
the hallways are known for the apparitions, all of them. There was one other unusual feature about Menger's bar. In any bar in the state of Texas, you could take your horse into the bar and tie him up with the brass rail. When you came to the Menger bar, he had a livery stable right at the corner where you had to check your horse in over there.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't take him into the bar. That was indeed an unusual feature in those days. It was.
Are there any hallways more where people have seen more of the?
That's difficult to say. It really, really is. As far as I'm concerned, it's even. It's spread out throughout the building, just about even in all scales.
How long did it take you to learn the history of this building? Is it just a constant process, or?
It's a constant process because you get people that come up to you and they start asking you questions. And so I guess that you unknowingly or knowingly, however, that you decided you'd better do something to learn some of the history on it. So you start reading on it. And then before you know it, you start asking questions yourself, and all of a sudden you're there, you've arrived. Not that you're any kind of an authority on it, but at the same time, it does help when people ask questions.
I would say you're the authority on it. I read several websites that recommended you were the only person to talk to here.
Well, that's very nice of them to do that, but it's the years ago, my friend and author Dosha Schultz Williams and I decided, we were having a cup of coffee one day, and we both decided, you know, we have all these sightings in the hotel. Why don't we go ahead and write a little pamphlet, maybe 5, 6, 7 pages, 8 pages, and tell people that the little ghosts are in the room and not to be upset or whatever. Well, that was the original idea. What started out as a 5 or 7 page booklet turned out to be a 300-page book, the complete history and mystery of the Menger Hotel. We're going into our 3rd printing. It's been very successful, it has.
What would you say is the typical clientele here? Is it?
We draw from all walks of life. We have military, we have civilian, conventioneers, we have family leisure travel, we have vacationers. We draw from all different points. This is a neat little area right in here. A little Spanish balcony with a grand view of the patio. And the patio, of course, is held for, like this gentleman's today is his retirement from the military.
Oh wow. Do y'all do anything to kind of? You talked about how it's hard to make any changes, especially to this part of the hotel. Do y'all make sure, even on the newer parts, to maintain the essence of the hotel?
We have to, because we're a historic property, and we have to always maintain that image. We cannot change it. Sure, there are some things, like I've had some people come in, they say, well, this room is too small. Well, you know, these are original rooms. We cannot change the configuration. Then we'd lose the complete image of the hotel. These rooms stay in that condition. There are some that are small. It's very, very true. There are some small rooms. But then again, in those days, people would stay at a hotel maybe overnight and then leave the next day, travel on.
It was merely a bed?
Yeah. Maybe a bed, a nightstand, a bowl to wash your face in or whatever, and maybe a mirror, if you were that lucky. But this, when the hotel opened, it opened as a 50-room hotel, 2 stories. It was built at the cost of $15,712, which you can't.
Probably what it take to get the permits for now.
And 8 months later, in 1859 of September, the first addition was added at the back of the building, and this time it was another 50 rooms and 3 stories at the back of the building. That's what was added.
And now it's what you said.
Now
319?
it's 5 stories and 316 rooms.
316.
Over the years, we've grown. Over the years, but it's the most unusual house. It is. If you like history, I have one of my favorite sayings, which is, when you're in San Antonio, remember the Menger, you know? That's what it's all about. It's a different hotel. It's just a very special place and time. It really, really is.
Do you ever get a draw in from people who are just gawking at the Alamo?
Oh, yes, yeah. We get a lot of people who are, as a matter of fact, here about 3 weeks ago, I had about 6 men. This is 2, sir.
All right, I'm still going down.
Okay. They were tile men from Chicago, and they were most impressed with the tile down there, which is from the 1908-1909 period. And they were all over the hotel, especially these areas right in here, just taking photographs of the tile. And made mention of the fact that several buildings in Chicago have the same type of tile. It's a very, this tile right here is a very, very, it's not very strong, as you can see the breakage that has occurred over the years, but they were just absolutely amazed in the condition of this lobby after 151 years.
And you said, is this marble, you said?
It's a marble, yes. Marble.
Okay. And no idea where this particular tile came from?
No.